get to the UK, Bill? I don't see you much over there.
Well, we were just talking. I think the last time I was here was about 5 years ago. I was down in Penzance and doing a weird musical movie called El Dorado. And I think it's been renamed The Road to Hell or something. I don't know. But it was the writer, director was producer was a guy named Richard Driscoll. And I never really knew what happened to El Dorado. It had a weird, eclectic cast. It had David Carradine, Mike Madsen, Jeff Fahey. It had Brigitte Nielsen. I think Carolyn Monroe was in it.
A friend of mine, Michael Barber, was in that.
Yeah, very possible. Thank you so much. And it was very strange. It was kind of a road movie of Blues Brothers, but they were called the Jews Brothers, so that was weird. Everything about it was weird. And then to make it even weirder, once we had finished, or I was done and gone, I found out that Richard Driscoll had apparently been caught for defrauding the government, and he's in jail. So
the film has unfortunately been labelled as one of the worst films ever.
Yeah. All right, we're number one.
Yeah, go Team El Dorado.
So that was the last time I was here, but I'm very happy to be here. Love England, so. But you know, when I send stuff to England, I want to say England, but then it's either Great Britain or the UK. Which is it?
We're a mess.
I'm Kit Carson, and I'm going to send you a copy of the Texas Chain Saw Massacre Part 2. And that day was a particularly bad day for me. Because I had, I was a writer in New York, but I also was trying to get acting jobs. And earlier that same day, I had been turned down as the part of a dead body. That's pretty fun. I mean, you can't really go much lower than that. And the reason I was because I smoked, and the audition for the dead body was at the top of a 4-story walk-up. And so I got to the audition on time, but by the time I got to the top of the stairs, I was, just heaving. And they said, "Okay, Bill, well, just lie there like a dead body." So I was lying on the ground, and my chest was like, so I didn't get the job as a dead body, which really sucked. And so, when I got this call from Kit Carson, I didn't think it was really Kit Carson. I thought it was just somebody messing with me. So I said, "Who is this really?" And he said, "No, it really is Kit." And I gave him my address, and he sent me a copy of the Texas Chain Saw Massacre 2, and told me to read it and look at a part of, I don't know if it was called Platehead at the time or Chop Top, but anyway, so he told me to look at it, and I did, and it was like a big part. I thought, I didn't have any professional acting credits per se, and it's a big part. And so I called him back and said, "This is a very funny script, and it's a big part." And he goes, "Yeah." I go, "Great." Yeah. And so I figured that all that would happen was they maybe would fly me out to LA, which is still pretty cool from New York. And I'd audition, I wouldn't get the part. There'd be real actors probably trying out for the part. And so that was kind of where I left it. And then about a week later, the legal department of Canon Films called me up, and they said, "Is this Bill Moseley?" "Yeah." "Do you have an agent, or do you want to negotiate your own contract?" I was like, "What?" I said, "Well, let me get back to you." And I had met an agent at a Christmas party earlier in the year. So I called her up. I said, "Hey, do you want to negotiate a contract?" Of course, it was free money for her, so she said, "Sure." So she called him up, and they had offered me this part based on Chop Top, or based on The Hitchhiker and the Chainsaw Manicure. And so that was the beginning of my happy career that's gotten me here. So that's a long answer, isn't it?
That is a good answer. Really good answer. You've played quite a few characters with strange names. Chop Top, Quilt Face.
The Devil's Rejects.
The Devil's Rejects. Yeah. What a film. Were you sad to see the back of Otis after Devil's Rejects? I know I was.
I was, because I have expensive children, So, I mean, just for that reason alone, I was sad that we all died. Spoiler, we died. But I was very glad when I finally got the word that I could shave my beard and not be Otis for a while. It was a difficult part. I mean, it was a great role for an actor, a great challenge, but it wasn't always fun.
Is it difficult to come away from that sometimes? You know, you've been on a set, it's a real brutal shoot.
Right.
You come away from it, just sometimes find it difficult to just switch off. Do you have to take some time out to just get back to being...
No, that's the scary part.
No, it's all too easy. Just the switch.
Not really. I mean, I guess it took its toll. But, you have to, as a parent, you can't bring Otis home and, try to tell your kids to do their homework. It gets a little scary. I had a girlfriend, the whole deal, so pets, and so I had to, plus, you got to drive to and from and all that kind of stuff. So, I think you learn to, turn it on and off, but, I mean, it is tough. It's, we did Devil's Rejects in 30 days, which, some movie shoots, like, I don't know, Pirates of the Caribbean, I know they take 2 years or something, but, we had a tight budget and a tight schedule, so, which I think actually was pretty cool. I remember in 2003, we shot in 2005 or 4 or whatever it was. But I was over at Rob's house, Shea Zombie, and we were watching the football Super Bowl. And that's when, and Rob turned to me and said, I want to do a sequel to House of a Thousand Corpses, Devil's Rejects. And I said, hey, that sounds great. And he goes, so I need you to grow a beard. And I was like, what? And he said, yeah, just grow a beard. And I said, well, I've never grown a beard. I don't know if I can grow a beard. And he said, well, I said, what do I do? And he said, well, just stop shaving. Okay. And I did, and all of a sudden not all of a sudden, it took a couple months, but this pretty awesome beard came out of my chin. And I never knew that it was like lurking in there. But, and then of course for Otis, a lot of times people are disappointed when I come to shows and they go like, how come you cut your hair? Figuring like, well, could you stand up please, Duncan? Yeah. All right, now here, that's the Otis that people are looking for. Thank you very much, sir. You're awesome. Actually, if you look at the, there was, with the deluxe edition of Devil's Rejects, there's an extra video called 30 Days in Hell, which is basically documenting, the making of Devil's Rejects. And in that, you see them shaving my head again. God, I don't know what it is. Every time I do something, I have to shave my head. But they shave my head, so it's their hair and my beard. And when I was given this wig for Otis, apparently it was made in Italy out of real human hair. I don't know, they had some song and dance about it. But they told me, they said, Bill, just remember one thing. I said, yeah, what's that? And they said, this wig is worth more than you are. So don't fuck it up. So I was like, oh, okay. So every day I'd get that wig glued on. I kind of, was like jealous of the wig somehow. It's like fucking better than me. Fuck you. But after a while, I got into it, and I was very protective of it. I don't know wherever it is, probably in Rob's storage space somewhere, balled up and like a little wad. But I ended up loving the wig, and it was interesting because the difference between the Otis and Devil's Rejects and Otis and House of a Thousand Corpses was really, in House of a Thousand Corpses, I didn't really, get the character. I mean, I acted the character. I kind of had the fundamentals of Otis, but I never really kind of got Otis until about 6 weeks after we had finished shooting House of a Thousand Corpses. Sorry about that, but what happened was that, when we moved and Rob, we got kicked out of Universal, we went to MGM for a while, and they got tired of us, so we were kind of on the road, and it seemed like as House of a Thousand Corpses moved around for those 3 years, we lost footage. So Rob kind of, needed to kind of create new footage just to keep it, try to make it a 90-minute movie. And so one day he called me up. This was, again, it was 6 weeks after we'd finished shooting, let's say. And we went over to Wayne Toth's makeup studio, Wayne, who does all the makeup for Rob's movies. And Rob showed me this little script that he'd written, which was the, Run Rabbit Run scene. And if you'll notice, that's shot in black and white. And, where you go, hunting humans ain't nothing but nothing. They all run like scared little rabbits. Run, rabbit, run, run, rabbit. And that was really when I got Otis. I just thought, oh, that's Otis, huh? Well, shit. Wish I'd known that 6 weeks earlier. But, Rob helped me find Otis. I remember one scene where the cops come to the Firefly house, and Walton Goggins plays the deputy sheriff, and I kind of pull a gun on him, and I walk out from behind some old, rusty washing machines in the front yard. And I come out, I got my cowboy hat on, my white hair, shirt open. And I got the gun on Walton, and I say, hold it right there, piggy, or something like that. And Rob said, yeah, that's good, great. Let's try it again. And when you walk out, why don't you just scratch your belly, as you're saying, your lines. I went, okay. So I walk out, did the same thing, but this time I'm kind of scratching my belly. And, it's so funny how that's good directing, because that was like, that I could get. I thought, fuck, that's right, there you go. But it really was when I got Otis during the Run Rabbit Run. And then when we did Devil's Rejects, it was the first and really only time I've ever, done a sequel, done the same character a second time. And I thought that was wonderful because, you kind of I found Otis toward the end of House of a Thousand Corpses, but then with Devil's Rejects, I knew Otis. And so it's kind of like, House of a Thousand Corpses is kind of like you want to buy a car, you kind of, kick the tires, check it out, you like the color, you haggle for the price, whatever. And with Devil's Rejects, it was like I had the car, and now it was time to take it out on the road and really open it up. And so that made it, a lot more fun. And of course, what Rob had done with the script, which I thought was so brilliant, was really gone from a horror movie, which is, Old Dark House, House of a Thousand Corpses, to really a kind of a violent crime road picture. I mean, I wouldn't even really classify Devil's Rejects as a horror movie per se, in, the classic sense. So it was amazing how he changed genres. Amazing how Baby, I think, does her laugh one time in Devil's Rejects. Captain Spaulding spends most of the time out of clown makeup. And Otis goes from like an albino with brown and red speckled eyes to like, I don't know, one of the Allman Brothers. Or now I got a beard and kind of like my eyes are, regular. I didn't have lenses in the movie, and it's like a whole different deal, which I thought was amazing. And by then, having worked with Sid and Sherry and Rob and the cinematographers and a lot of the people on the crew, it was so much easier. I didn't have to find the character or impress people or get to know people. It was just like one big happy family. So that was I think that's probably why Otis was so much more effective, I guess, just because, I was ready to go. It was a tough experience because, Rob's script had us going to some pretty difficult places, but, that's showbiz,
Hopefully I speak for everyone when I say this, but when you get back to the States, do us all a favour and give our regards to Sid. It's a shame he couldn't be here this weekend.
Yes, absolutely. Sid, by the way, just to dispel any rumors, I think Sid went into the hospital a couple of months ago, but just for like a day or two. It wasn't a big deal. But of course, with the internet, everybody had Sid on death's doorstep, and Sid had Ebola. I think that was some. He might have, I don't know. But I've seen Sid, many times since that rumor came out, or that he went to the hospital or whatever. It was first, no big deal, and he does not have Ebola, and he is alive and well. So I just wanted to put